Problem number 3. Little typo. It says assume trout lengths are normally distributed. Obviously, I meant salmon. And since they're normally distributed, the minimum requirements are met. They want us to make a 95% confidence interval. 95% confidence interval. So int, so we are going to be using the two sample, two groups, two sample, and they're talking about means. So two sample t int. Int for interval. Okay, and then they want us to interpret what that confidence interval means. Okay, so let's just make our confidence interval. Do they give us raw data or summary statistics? They give us summary statistics. Okay, so we go to stat. Let's see, go to stat. And then we're going to choose tests. And we said two sample t int, two sample, not z, t, two sample t int. Enter. Not data, but stats, summary statistics, hit enter. Okay, now, ooh, has all that previous information. We'll just ignore it all. X1, be careful. X1 is 26.4, enter. S, 3.8, enter. Sample size, 14, enter. Group 2, X bar 2, 23.6, enter. S, 4.9, enter. N, sample size for group 2, 9. Enter. Confidence level, 95 sounds good. That's what they asked for. Pooled, just say no. Calculate. Okay, so we get a confidence interval of negative 1.323, comma 6.9228. Negative 1.323, comma 6.9228. Again, there's a weird formula for degrees of freedom. It's that same one we were using before. Just ignore that. Okay, here's our confidence interval. Now, okay, we've done this before. Now, no one asks us this exactly, but remember the null is that the means are the same. And a 95% confidence interval is the same as a two-tail test with alpha 05. Two-tail test does not equal. And remember the null could be rewritten algebraically as mu1 minus mu2 equals 0. So when you see this confidence interval, you should be asking yourself, what number am I looking for in that interval? I am looking for this 0. Is 0 in the interval? Yes. 0 is in the interval. Okay, so what does that mean? That means the null is kind of an okay idea. We're kind of stuck with it. Let's not reject it. 0 is in the interval. Therefore, we do not reject that idea. We do not reject the null. Do not reject HO. So if you do not reject HO, do not reject it, that means we're stuck with it. That means there's not enough evidence to suggest this. Not enough evidence to suggest the means are different. Different. Okay, let's see if this made any sense. Let's go back. Based on your confidence interval, is there any statistically significant difference between the means? Explain your reasoning. What are you looking for in the interval? Okay, so here's my confidence interval. Because 0 is in the interval, so maybe you just say, put the word because there. Because, can you start a sentence with because? I'm not sure. Because 0 is in the interval, there is not enough evidence to suggest the means are different. So notice there's a lot of stuff going on that no one asked for. It's all sort of implied. This whole null and alternative, no one asked you to write it down. You sort of did this off to the side or in your head. This conclusion, you did it off to the side or in your head. Here's my confidence interval. Is 0 in the interval? Yeah. Okay. So there's not enough evidence to suggest the means are different. Boom. So you see how we went straight from this idea, looking for that number, to our conclusion in plain English. So a confidence interval is sort of a shortcut to a hypothesis test. Ponder that for a few, but I think it'll make sense.